All right. I'm going to go ahead and bring us out. We're going to
Okay.
go ahead and get started. Uh, Sorry about those technical difficulties. You have heard Moose say on here before that do not upload pictures while you are in the stream. Well, I did. And we found out what happened. It killed the stream. That was completely my fault. I've done it before when I've hosted them, but I've been behind the scenes. Have you ever seen them when they drop off and then they come back into it? With me doing that, it killed it. That was my fault. So we're starting out brand new because that other stream only lasted about 5 seconds before it died.
Wow.
So, Commander Kennedy, you can start from the very beginning, but we'll go ahead and we're still going to start our banners back about the views and opinions being those of the SCV. They're not those of the SCV. They're not the GEC or any division, brigade, camps, or anybody like that. It's just the opinion of those that are voicing them. Mr. Kennedy, Commander Kennedy was wide open in the middle of a conversation. And Mr. Kennedy, the floor is yours. Start over, sir.
Well, we should have taken a hint when Chuck McMichael said, "Is anybody home?" That Chuck McMichael, he don't even need live streaming, and so we should have took a hint. I saw that up there when Chuck said, "Is anybody home?" Well, we wasn't. So, folks, it's good to be back with you. It was, this Yankee technology sometimes it just really kill you. So I'm going to go ahead and start. We've got a few little items I do want to touch on. The main thing is right now we have our forest video coming out. This is the video in which we are dealing with Bill O'Reilly's attack upon General Forrest. As Dr. Mitchum said when I interviewed Dr. Mitchum, it would be easier to talk about what Bill O'Reilly got correct in that chapter about he wrote on Forrest than to list all the things he got wrong. So, and Dr. Mitchum is absolutely correct. Now, this video is I'd say about 55 minutes to an hour video. It's broken down in a 10-minute intro, more or less, when Ron Kennedy is talking about setting up the conditions in the South after the war at the time of Reconstruction. And then we'll go in with interviewing Dr. Mitchum. So y'all want to see that this is coming up tomorrow night, 6 p.m. on Make Dixie Great Again Facebook. Now, that is the Facebook account that Ray Shores at Victory Flags and More, they're running that. And he's already ran several ads on Facebook. I've seen it pop up on my account advertising this premiere of this video. We will get it out tomorrow night, the premiere. By all means, take a look at it, see what's going on with it. In the next week, we'll have it posted to the SCV YouTube channel, as well as I believe we can get the SCV, we will have by then or be working on a Rumble account. So we'll be getting that. And also I want to we're going to start putting together some shorts about this video. We want to try to get those on X accounts, Instagrams, and things like that. So people will see those little shorts, get really interested in what we're talking about, and go see the entire video. That video is really something that I think is going to help us. Now, take a look at this video, because my intention between now and next July is to go to the studio there at Ray Shores at Victory Flags or More. And they've got an excellent studio, a teleprompter, the whole works, lighting, camera, action, everything. Editing, wonderful editing equipment. And I want to do at least 3 more videos before I get out of this office. And we'll talk about that later. And we'll interview different people on different subject matters. So that's tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, Facebook, Make Dixie Great Again account. Now we also have the Confederate Legion has a project going on. And it's a fun project. It's not going to cost you anything more than the cost of some stamps, probably. The Confederate Legion has acquired 300 copies of our latest edition of the Confederate Veteran. 300 copies. We are offering to the first 60 camps now, the first 60 camps that will buy into this. We offer you 5 copies of the Confederate Veterans. Now, what we're insisting that you take these 5 copies and you mail them to people in your community who are not already SCV members. They may have been an SCV member that hadn't been around for quite a while and just kind of dropped out. Would you want to send him one? But the important thing is to get it to people like your elected officials. Let them know, hey, this Sons of Confederate Veterans, it's a big organization. It's got a lot going for it. Your elected officials, any of your veterans organization, patriotic organizations, people that you know that are really interested in, quote, the Civil War, end quote, Southern history and that sort of thing, send them a copy. All we're asking you to do is email our Chief of Heritage Operation, Paul Graham. Now, you may say, well, I don't know Paul's email address. No problem. You got the Confederate Veteran, forward the colors. If you'll notice right up there, there's Paul Graham's email address. Email our Chief of Heritage Operation and tell him my camp. Now, I would prefer to have somebody official in your camp and not just an individual member. Email him and say, my camp will distribute. Now, you're making a promise that you won't sit on these magazines, and you will distribute them in your community. And once you've got to send Paul the name of your camp number, who are we going to mail this to? Because let's just say Jason Brochure is his camp. What's your camp's name, Jason?
Samuel R. Watkins, camp number 29.
All right, so the Watkins camp, it said, hey, we would like to get involved in this, and we're going to jump in there before they're all gone, because we're only doing 60. They're 5 each. I've got 300. The Confederate Legion has bought 300, so that's 5 each to the Watkins camp. We got to know, do we send it to Jason Brochure's, his address, and then all we'll do then is mail him. It won't even cost you the price of mailing. The Confederate Legion is funding all that. This is what your membership and donations to the Confederate Legions is for, and we're trying to get our name out to people in your local community. Elected official, don't forget your sheriff, your judges, also people who are maybe in arrears, hadn't been a member for them. They may be stimulated if they see our magazine and hear what we're doing, or just somebody in your community that's a history buff, or somebody who is very patriotic that really likes what we're doing. Send them a copy, and we've got a cover letter. I see it. Well, I don't have. Yeah, I do. Hang loose, folks. We have a cover letter that we'll send with you. This letter, you can put on there. All you got to do is put the date and put your name, your camp, your return address, everything down here. They've got a beautiful QR code. And guess what that QR code is for, Jason? What do you think? Take a wild guess.
I'm going to say if walls could talk.
If walls could talk, yes. So this letter will go to each individual that you send one of these magazines to, and it explains to him that, the enclosed Confederate Veterans, the official journal of the Sons of Confederate Veterans, so on, so on, so on. So they'll get that too. So we'll send you one. You make copies, 4 more copies, and send them out. Now, remember, we've got 60 of these to give out, and I think we've already have at least 3 or 4 camps that's already contacting. Ron said to tell y'all that this letter will be on official SCV stationery, so it will look official. It is official. So by all means, again, what we're trying to do is show camps at the local level, what can you do to get your name out to the community and increase the visibility and the impact that we have in the community. And this is one of the ways we can do it. We're offering the first 60 camps, we've already got 3 or maybe 4. So we've got about either 57 or 56 other camps that can jump on this and take off and go with it. Now, in the future, we will continue doing this. We will buy some each time, but we can't. Obviously, the Confederate Legion cannot afford to keep buying and paying all these. We're just kicking this off, more or less priming the pump, because I want you to understand and the camps to understand we don't have to be silent. We don't have to be a little organization that meets in the back room of a barbecue shop and that we just talk to the same old people over and over again. We've got to reach out to the people in the community. All right, that's one thing. Now, one more thing, and Jason, I will shut up. I know you're looking at me hard.
No, I'm listening. I'm learning.
All right, folks, you've got your latest magazine, your latest Confederate veteran. All right. If you'll notice, there's something missing in mine. You know what's missing there? That's those 3 postcards that was in that magazine. Look there. There's a stubs there. I've already addressed them and mailed them out. Now, these, unfortunately, look, this is the first time we've done this in quite a while. Our printer kind of messed up a little bit on these cards. He addressed them all to the same individual. Yeah, if you want to, go ahead and send them all to that one individual. But what I've done, they're all going to Fox News. Sean Hannity is on there. I've scratched out Sean on 2 of my cards. I've scratched out Sean Hannity's name, and I wrote in Laura Ingraham in one and Jesse Waters in another. Now, the point is, these people, Jesse Waters, Sean Hannity, they'll probably never see these cards. But if anywhere from 10 to 30,000 of these cards show up at headquarters in New York City, they will know that there's a big organization out there that is really upset about the way that Southern history is being treated. And there's another side to that story. And guess what? They're suggesting that Fox News contact Sons of Confederate Veterans, ask our view of some of these issues. And especially as we roll in along with this attack on O'Reilly, not attack, but at least exposing his ignorance. I'm hoping that they'll invite one of us to be on there to say, well, now, what exactly do you think Mr. O'Reilly got wrong? So we've got a lot going on there, folks. We can win. Don't think that we are losing. We are not. We're doing things now differently than we have ever done before. And I'm hoping that Jason will have time when some of the news gets put away, done, that we can talk about some of these victory campaigns that we're trying to push and will be pushing. And what we're doing is letting people know that we are on the winning side. And Jason and I and Julie Hardaway and Rhodes, Tommy Rhodes for MOSB and Miss Hardaway with the UDC, Jason and myself, we're all in Andersonville, Georgia at the POW, it's celebration, not celebration, but the Memorials Association there with Major Wirtz, talking about Major Wirtz. And there's a photograph there, that's a good photograph there. That's Miss Julie Hardaway, the the President General of the UDC, and myself. And I think in the background, that looks like a Jason Brochures in the background. Is that you?
Yes, sir. I believe it's right.
You just got a photo bomb us, I swear. If we could have downloaded or uploaded all our pictures, we also have pictures of Tommy Rhodes and several people. And I don't remember. See, there's Tommy there in the middle, and there's a nice picture of some of the dignitaries that were there, including a relative of Major Wirtz. So it was a great set. I'm just guessing it was well over 100 people there, and interesting story, folks. It rained all day, on and off, mist and rain. When it got time for the memorial service, it cleared up, no rain, and we had a great great event. And I was very impressed. I did not get the young gentleman's name, but it was a young man, young boy. I would say it's hard for me. I would say about 12 years old. Jason, what do you think?
Yeah.
He was a spokesman for the children of the Confederacy. That looked great. I was very impressed with him. So, hey, we are winning. Now, in the future, folks, hopefully before my administration is over, we will be dedicating the Forest Plaza, the resurrection of the Forest Plaza. And when we do that, we are telling the world two things. Number one, they took it down, we're putting them back. But here's the important thing. We are not just celebrating our Forest Plaza in Columbia, Tennessee. That's the excuse that we will use to talk about all these other monuments that we have saved, new monuments that we put up, flag parks that we have created. Jason and I will be in Jacksonville, Florida, the Kirby Smith camp there. They have got a wonderful flag park there. I visited about, I think, a year ago, maybe a little less. They've got a great flag, and they've saved the Confederate monument, and it is being restored, and it's next to an interstate highway that will be seen by millions of people every year. So a lot of our monuments that have been, quote, forced taken down, we took them down from an area where they were not respected, and we replaced them in area that they are respected. And this is, I know in Louisiana we've done that twice here that I know, and maybe 3 times that I know of right off the top of my head. And that's the old monuments that we saved. Folks, we're putting up new monuments too. J.C. Hanna, my chief of staff, and I were in Georgia back a year ago at a flag park there. They had a brand new monument, a big, nice, tall monument, very impressive at the crossroads of 2 major state highways. And it's a big park there, flags, monuments, the whole works. These stories need to be told. These are victories that we are having. So many people, even in our own organization, feel like, oh, we're losing. All we ever hear about is the monuments being destroyed or taken down or banned, or flags being banned from parade. That's all they hear. Well, that's true. That's all you hear because that's all the news will report. Jason Brochures has come up with a great idea, and we're going to nip that in the bud where our membership will have access to all these positive things that we're doing. And then it's left up to you, the membership, to take that information, put it on your social media, and spread the information. We've got, I would say, in the SCB, we've got at least 20,000 people that have some form of social media, and probably every one of them has some form, and their wife or their children or grandchildren have social media, and some people have various. I have an X account. I have the Facebook account. If we put all this positive information on those accounts, we will literally reach millions of people. And most of those people are people that like us to begin with. We've already proved that through our polls that we've done in SCB that Americans respect and admire our history and heritage, and they want it preserved. So we're going to get that out to you. National can do so much, but again, it's all must be local, has to be done local. And there's a few things we can do nationally. And Ron just mentioned we need folks to sign up to keyboard. He called it keyboard warriors. I like Paul Graham's keyboard gorillas, because it's like a guerrilla activity where we're small, but yet we're making a big impact. And please sign up for that, because this is going to go along with some of the things that hopefully, if I'll ever shut up, Jason will get a chance to talk about in some of our victory campaign. And all this goes hand in glove of getting information out to the general public. So with that said, Commander Brochures, I'm going to back up and let you pontificate a little bit.
Well, actually, I didn't need to. With everything that you've said, you have said it all. I tell you, you've covered it. the main thing that and one of the things that we know is communication has been a problem, and a lot of things that we do have success with never makes it out to the membership. The membership as a whole don't know if we here in Tennessee have a victory, and we have had victories. We would have a victory and we'll put a post out there on Facebook. The next day it's old news. Whereas if something happens, we hear about that's negative, we'll hear about it for days and weeks, and it just goes on, and people keep talking about it. So we have decided to come up with this plan, and it is called SCV Success. Anytime that we have a victory, you're going to receive an announcement via email that is going to come to your email box. That is going to tell you, and this is to all of our membership that we have an email address for. And it's going to go out and it's going to come to you. It's not going to be posted just on social media. It's coming to you. It's going to be posted on Facebook. It's going to be posted on X. It's going to be posted on Rumble, Instagram. It's going to be posted around, but it's going to come straight to you. And so you're going to know or have access to this information. Unfortunately, we know that so many people get the Confederate Veteran magazine, but they don't read it, or they don't read it page by page. We know so many people, they'll come in, it'll come in, they'll open it up. They might look at the commander's column. They might look and see what's going on as far as any donations or any announcements. But most people just open it up. They go straight to see if there are pictures in there, and then they move on to something else, because there are things that people ask about that are in the Confederate Veteran. And so we know that not everybody's reading their Confederate Veteran. So we're going to make it, and this is my thought, why don't we make it to where you have to ignore the information, to where you have to run away from it, because it's going to be presented to you on multiple fronts. This is going to come from, these announcements are going to come from the Sons of Confederate Veterans. They're going to come from the Confederate Legion. They're going to come from, as Mr. Ron Kennedy said, well, I hit the wrong button. Okay, there we go. We need the folks to sign up for the keyboard warriors. So it's going to come from them as well, to where all of these announcements are going to be out there. Okay, so you're on Facebook, but you're not on anything else. Okay, you're going to get an email about it. So the point is that every victory that we have, it's going to go out. I wanted to put something up here because we have had a SCV count 914 of the Cherokee Legion. We have had 4 new members in the past 2 months. Hallelujah. Way to go, SCV camp 914, the Confederate Legion. And then a little bit later, he posted this: we're growing. I make a monthly camp newsletter and send it to our members. It helps a lot. We also have been asking our local shops if we can hang up recruitment flyers, and that has really helped as well. So you're making it out into your community. So you could take this information that's coming from SCV Success, and you could take and put that in your camp newsletter. You could take, when you create a flyer, a recruitment flyer, you can take and have that on there, and you can say, this is what the Sons of Confederate Veterans have won victories in. And this is what we have accomplished. Because so many of our members over the years have said, we don't win anything, it's no use. Well, a lot of times we do have victories and it never makes it out. What is Winston Churchill said, that the truth makes it around the world. A lie makes it around the world before the truth has a chance to put its pants on. So people love to dive into the bad news, and they love to spread the bad news. How about we become more Christ-like and spread the good news, and we start talking about our victories, and we start talking about the things that we have done. And I want to thank the Camp 914 Cherokee Legion for sharing that information. That's a victory because you have 4 new members in the past 2 months. Plus, you're advertising. You're
That's
getting
right.
out and you're advertising.
That's right.
You're winning.
You're winning. Could I make
Go
a point on the advertising, because you really hit on something there. The Confederate Legion will be sending out its notice next week, I believe. We're pushing some radio ads and for Thanksgiving. It's the real Thanksgiving, and we're going to hopefully get some radio ads there. Jason Brochures just sent me a great radio station in Mount Pleasant, which covers the whole Maury County there. We're going to be buying some ads there. The Confederate Legion will be doing some there. But the point is, I've had so many people say, radio, nobody listens to radio. Yes, they do, but not everybody. That's correct. I had a guy say, well, these billboards, you wasting money, because nobody looks at billboards. Yes, they do. It's not seen every time as you go by. The same thing with any form of advertising, people. You got to keep hitting it. There's a niche. I have people complaining about, you're running ads in magazines. Nobody reads magazines. Yes, they do. It's not as many as it used to. But the point I'm getting at, we've got to hit all these areas. And sending these Confederate veterans out into your community. When you email your elected officials, when you have a cemetery cleanup or you got a special project that you've done that's been very positive, you spread that news in your community. All of these little things is what creates the momentum. The momentum will not come from one thing. We cannot win the battle just by running one series of ads on radio, on newspaper, even on TV. It takes all of these things working together. And that is why we're pushing all of these things, trying to get people interested in who these sons of Confederate veterans are and why shouldn't we be proud of our heritage. So it's going to take many things in many different ways, and we've got to go ahead and keep doing this. And until the end of my administration, we're going to push this, and I'm hoping that it will influence people and start building membership. Victories, if people see that we are successful, that helps to build membership. Also, it encourages retention. But if people think that we're just losing and it's a losing battle and I can't win, I don't want to hear about it anymore. Well, they're going to drop out, and I can't blame them because no one likes to be around negativity all the time. You need to be positive. I had a lawyer friend, well, y'all know him, Kurt Lyons. He told me, because I was complaining to Kurt about all these, so we keep filing lawsuits and we never win. He said, that's a problem. He said, but the biggest problem, Donnie, is that when we do win, nobody knows about it.
Yes.
And he hit the nail right on the head. And this is what we're trying. When we have a legal victory, we want everybody to know about it. When we have a successful event, we want everybody to know about it. When the people in California, have y'all even seen what those guys out there in that camp, they're in their community, they're leading parades, sons of Confederate veterans. That's a victory, folks. That's what our people back in Georgia, in South Carolina, in Tennessee, in Louisiana, the ones that can read English, they need to know that so that they'll say, well, wow, they can do that in California. We can do something here. So those type of things need to be told over and over and increase positivity, because we positively are winning. We just don't know it, and we got to keep pushing.
Yes, sir. And I'm glad that you said that, because it is the positivity. If you go into this negative, we've all heard this old saying, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Because you have to have that positive attitude that we can win this, and we can win this. If you remember at the national reunion, you had this to say: if they know, we will grow.
Absolutely.
Okay. Derek Glover had this to say: when it comes to spreading victories and successes, if you tell, we will sell.
Yeah.
Now, to me, that piggybacked right off of
Yeah.
if they know, we will grow, because that's the same thing. If they know of our victories, we will grow, and we will grow stronger. And he's right. The public will agree with what we're doing. But I just thought he played off what you said. And if y'all tell, we can sell.
That's right. I like it. The concept that I just off the top of my head in Houston, which we put on the screen, if they know, we will grow. And it's so simple, but the people have to know. And all these things that I've been talking about, that Jason's been talking about, that we've been pushing through the Confederate Legion and other groups out there in the SCV, it's all to educate the public about who we are, why we are proud of our Southern heritage, and why they should also be proud. Now, remember the poll that we did about 2 years ago or 3 years ago now? It clearly showed that a majority of Americans in general, they like Southern history and Southern heritage and are opposed to the destruction of Confederate monuments and things of that nature. And in the South, my gosh, it is just amazing. Even in the so-called minority population, up to 40 to 45% say, leave it alone. It's history. And I think they understand that we all have history. And if you destroy my history, then we're going to destroy your history. We have no history. And what happens when you have no history? The communists and Marxists come in and they'll give you a history, and whether you like it or not. So we've got to do this. We've got to work together. So, and I appreciate y'all allowing me as your commander-in-chief to do this for about another 9 months. But we're going to keep pushing it, and let's hope we can really, really move forward as we have in the past. Remember, we've got the Thanksgiving ad coming out. We'll get that out to everybody so you can put it on. And Moose is putting together for us a Thanksgiving video that goes with the ad. So even if you don't put it on the radio, you can put it on your social media. Mr. Commander Brochures, how much will it cost us if we put that on about 1,000 of our memberships' social media, that video?
Let's say about 1,000 of them, zero.
Zero is absolutely, as my daddy used to say, naught to naught is naught. So it is absolutely zero, and the impact is phenomenal. So we've got a really good Christmas ad too. And we're going to have video and an ad. I really want some of the camps to sponsor a radio ad in your local community. It will not bring in hundreds of members, but it's another one of those small steps we take forward. Don't expect to do one ad or a series of ads. Don't expect to put a billboard up in your community and all of a sudden have hundreds of new members. What it does, it warms the community. Their feelings about who we are and what we stand for is correct. So therefore, they're more willing to join with us. So we've got to do this. Commander Brochures, I'll try to shut up now a little bit, let you talk. I don't want your pop-off valve started going off because you're not talking.
Oh, did I look like I was building up pressure? Actually, I've been busy in the comments because we've got trolls. We've got people coming on here making some comments, and I've been having to delete them. And I'm deleting them and banning them. I don't just delete the post. I just ban the people, because we've got too much good work to do, and these are people coming on saying very bad things. And the people that are in the comments that have seen these, ignore the people.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just move on. The Bible warns us of these people. So, but we'll take a step back and we'll catch up with everybody. We did start on time. I made a mistake, how it was, and we've heard, and because we come back on late, about 18 minutes after we got started, because I tried to upload a picture, and this was the picture that I wanted to upload because it is a very, very important picture. This picture right here with our Commander-in-Chief and the President General of the United Daughters of the Confederacy. That is a wonderful picture. Again, they were at the Henry Wirtz Memorial. I was there. It was a great time. And then all of us, I was trying to upload these two pictures. This will be the last time I ever try to upload a picture. Once the stream starts, I'm stopping, especially if I'm hosting. I have done it in the past when I've been one of those helping, but I took myself off and uploaded it. I thought I could do it and stay on track, but I did not. But you can see the number of people there. You see Tommy Rhodes, it's in the center. The gentleman that is just to his left, which would be to our right, he's a retired general, was he not?
Yes.
Yes. And,
yes.
Yeah, and he had been the speaker there a few years ago. And he did a fantastic job. If I'm right, he wrote his thesis on the Henry Wirtz deal.
Right.
So,
and one of the things I discussed with him is the possibility of getting him on a video in the future where we're interviewing him about Henry Wirtz using his thesis as the background. So that's another one of those videos that we're hoping to put together before my administration's over. So we've got the ability, we've got access to prime A1 equipment. Let's use it. So we, excuse me. So we can definitely get something going like that. I want to see several more videos like the one that will be shown tomorrow night. Remember that, 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. tomorrow night on Facebook. Make Dixie Great Again Facebook. That's Ray Shores at Victories and Victory Flags and More. They're the one whose equipment that we're using, studio we're using. And so I really appreciate Ray and the work that they're doing.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. And Charles LeRae come on, and he said that I thought he was a retired general, but he's a retired major from the U.S. Army. I know that him and Charles talked for a few minutes. To answer David Pope, this is 6 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah, Confederate time.
Confederate time, as he likes to say, Jubilee time. And David Pope asked if that's John Scales. No, sir, it was not John Scales. It was not that gentleman. I don't happen to have his paperwork handy. Let's see. I'm kind of catching up on everything. Chuck McMichael had this to say: where there is no vision, the people perish. That is very correct. As it has been said before, nothing is ended until it is forgotten. And that's the reason why all this stuff needs to be said and needs to be repeated. Commander, you had something?
Yes, that was retired Major Glenn LaForce, F-O-R-C-E, LaForce. That's who that was. Yes, okay. Glenn LaForce, retired, and it says plain here, retired Major. Yes, so, and he is an excellent speaker. I've heard him before, and he is very, very knowledgeable on Wirtz. I'm looking forward. Maybe we can work something out. I talked to him at some length about the possibility of doing a video sponsored by the SCV about this, and he said, "Hey, let's see if we can work it out." So we're going to do our best to get that done.
Yes, sir. I thought we might go back through a few of the posts that we have here. The museum at Market Hall joined us, home of the Confederate Museum. Appreciate y'all joining in. Thank you for coming and visiting with us tonight. SCV Benton, the more you get out into the community, the better. I've never understood groups that just meet, eat, and go home. That kind of person needs to be eliminated, or as we call it, meet, eat, and retreat. So I understand that there are those out there, and looks like you've picked up a couple of leads. Charles LeRae had answered a fellow on here by the name of Jeff LaRue, because Jeff LaRue, I need someone to email me back concerning reinstating my membership. Alexandria, Louisiana, and Charles LeRae jumped right in there. We'll send you an email. I like it when that's the reason why we do these shows. And that's the reason why I like to go through and pop these up. And then it says, Jason and Lloyd, the Prince Anne Confederate Memorial had its rededication this past weekend, as well as General A.P. Hill 200th birthday celebration in Virginia. I don't have any pictures of the Prince Anne Confederate Memorial, but I do have a picture of the General A.P. Hill that I'll cover in the news here in just a few minutes. Let's see, and I just want to make sure that we've gotten on here. Let's see. Commander, if you have something that you want to talk about.
Well, yeah, really, I see where Ron, my brother, said, please mention the Stephen D. Lee Institute. That is in February the 28th. And again, in your Confederate veteran, there's a ad in there for the Stephen D. Lee. We've got some great speakers. The gentleman, Dr. Now I'm going to just go blank off. So it wrote the real Lincoln, DiLorenzo, Dr. Thomas DiLorenzo. He'll be speaking. Dr. Adicott will be speaking from Texas, and y'all probably heard him before. He is a dynamic speaker. And of course, Ron and myself will be speaking, but also I'm very interested in hearing Wajuri Joya. She's a young lady from, I think it was Kenya. I'm not sure. Ron will correct me in a minute if I'm wrong. But anyway, she is an American citizen. She was born over here. She got her degree, her doctorate degree in Oxford over in England. And she is a strong Southerner that believes in the South and believes in the cause that we fought for, and is just absolutely. So Ron said, yes, it was Kenya. And so anyway, she is opposed to all the attacks against Western Christian civilization. And then she came to the South and she said the same thing is happening here, but it's not as progressed as far as it has in Great Britain. And if you'll notice, they're having a lot of trouble in Great Britain and France and places like that. And so she works with the von Mises Institute. So I'm looking forward to hearing her. And I've read a lot of her articles, and I did hear her speak to the Abbeville Institute about a year ago. And she did a very good job. Young lady, very lovely young lady from Kenya. So that would be a very interesting. You don't want to miss the Stephen D. Lee Institute in Durham, North Carolina, excuse me. That's on February the 28th.
Yes, sir. I'm planning on being there. And we have had a gentleman to come on here, and he's grateful to have found his Confederate ancestor.
Right.
If you hope you join the Sons of Confederate Veterans, we hope we give you a lot of victories and a lot of reasons to join. And hope is not a plan. We plan on winning. We plan on having a lot of victories, and we plan on announcing.
Yes.
And you talked about that young lady, and Al Stidham said her posts on X are amazing.
Absolutely. If you've ever read any of her stuff, you'll realize this lady is brilliant. And you can't mistake her. She's not some redneck from Mississippi. She's definitely not. And I got tickled when Ron and I were talking with her at the Abbeville Institute, and we laughed, said, well, it's kind of embarrassing talking to you because you got better English than us. You're speaking the King's English. We speak redneck English. So she is just a precious young lady. And I'm just so glad that we got a chance to invite her, and she accepted the invitation. Yes.
And the gentleman that we said earlier that had found his ancestor, he's in.
Yeah, good.
Love hearing that.
But
and your brother had this.
He reminded me, if any of y'all ever had the honor of going to seeing Jefferson Davis's boyhood home down in Wilkerson County, Mississippi, it is a beautiful home. It's Rosemont. Percival Beecroft, he used to be a member of the SCV. He called me. He and I have been in contact quite a bit, and he wants to get back involved in the SCV. But he also wants us to push Rosemont. We need our people going down to Rosemont and visiting that site. So we're going to see what we can do to get him back in the SCV, and also, but he is 100% pro-Jefferson Davis, pro-South. So it is amazing. These people, I think they're beginning to hear good things about the SCV, and they're contacting us saying, hey, I want to get back in. So we will be hopefully visiting with Mr. Beecroft sometime either this week or early next week. So we'll let you know how that goes.
Read this from Carl Jones. Dinesh D'Souza tried to debate her on a live stream, not knowing who she was or her credentials, and she demolished him.
Yeah.
And that's coming. Yes, that's coming from Carl Jones. So, Carl loves a good debate. He loves a discussion. He does. He does. I tell you, I appreciate everybody that has come on. I figure what I'll do right now is I'll take a few-minute break. I'm probably going to play a video that you might have seen before, and I'll come back and I'll cover the news. Commander, if you want to, you can stay on. We'll come back and we can both can talk about the news and chime in, because we've been going about 45 minutes since we started back.
Okay.
And
Can I make one comment right quick?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Watch this video, and remember, everybody in New York City that's getting those postcards, they're going to know about this. And people who, when you smell out these Confederate veterans with that cover letter, they're going to know about it. They're going to see that video. So let's keep working, folks. We can take back the narrative. Actually, we're now, as past Commander Paul Gremlin said, we're not taking back the narrative now. We're pushing our narrative. And that's what we're doing, folks. Thank you, Jason. Let's go.
Yes, sir. And when we come back from this commercial, we're going to be talking about all of the camp news that you have sent in to scvyouthOutreach@gmail.com. We'll see you in 2 minutes.
There is a place nestled in the rolling farmland of southern Middle Tennessee. A home constructed in 1837, nearly lost to the ravages of war. Saved by a servant and a Confederate general. A place where families loved and lost. If walls could talk, what stories could be told? If a place, a home, can feel love, loss, pain, surely this is one of those places. Nearby is a more recent structure, and inside are the stories of heroes and heroines, stories of battles won and lost, stories of sacrifices made by the people of its native soil. A place that will tell the true and complete story of the Southland and the war fought for its freedom. From the causes that led to the conflict to the modern-day struggles to protect Southern history. Historic Elm Springs and the Confederate Museum at Elm Springs are the general headquarters for the Sons of Confederate Veterans. A place where the story of the Southland and its historic struggle is preserved and told. Come and discover your history.
All righty, we are back. And that video, as he said, it's making it around. So that's those cards he talked about, that QR code, that's where they're going. All right, let's talk a little bit about the news as the news that you have been sending in. Harrison forwarded all of this to me, and I'll cover it as best that I can. We're going to start with the General Alfred Mouton camp. And this is Charles LeRae. And it said the General Mouton Camp 778 of Opelousas recently lost longtime and charter member David Richard, who fought a long, hard fight against cancer. Prior to his death, the camp ordered his 25-year service medal to present to him for his loyal and dedicated service. Sadly, he passed away before it could be presented. Here is Commander Charles LeRae presents the medal and the camp's resolution on David's passing to his widow, Rhonda. It was presented 25 years to the day that David became a member of the SCV. We want to send our condolences to the Richard family. And this is a picture of David Richard. Looks like a happy man right there. So let's see, I believe I've got some more news from the Alfred Mouton camp. And this actually happened. So this has already happened. If I'm reading it right, this happened on Saturday, November the 1st. They were at the Gumbo Foundation Squirrel Cook-Off at Willie's in Washington. The camp recruited and sales table. They were up and they had a 12-pound parrot rifle that will be fired to start the cook and will shoot throughout the day. So if y'all want to send us some pictures, because that was what I was sent before it happened, or what Harrison was sent before it happened. He sent it to me. I thought, I'm just going to put it on here. We're already talking about the Mouton camp. So why not talk about that news as well? And we talked earlier about the A.P. Hill birthday. And these are the members of the Turner Ashby camp. They attended the 200th birthday ceremony of Lieutenant General Ambrose Powell Hill. And that was this past Saturday, held at Fairview Cemetery in Culpeper, Virginia. And they sent in a couple of pictures, and sorry about that, but that was a typo. I said 500 and it was 200. If he's 500 years old, he's doing well. Okay. And we'll go through this. This is the Cannon Cookout. This was sent to us by Ricky Pritchard. He's a past commander of the Pittsville Vindicator Camp 828. And they had a Cannon Cookout. It was family and friends. That was on October the 18th. They had 3 guns on the field. SCV members from 5 different camps. The Pennsylvania Vindicators Camp 828. The Stuart Harston Camp 515. The Wharton Stewart Camp 1832, and the Private Lorenzo Dow Williams Camp 1456, and the Captain Winfield Scott Lemberry Camp 92. I appreciate y'all being out there, and you can see some of the fun that they had. As anybody who's worked artillery, you know artillery is fun. It's fun, and I appreciate y'all sending that information in. Let's see, we have a couple of comments that have phoned in, and let's see what anybody's got to say. Charles LeRae, yes, sir. I'm sure a longtime member of the camp, looked like he was an active member. So, yes, and condolences to the camp. It was a honor to command the honor guard. Okay. Let's see. Let me go back over here and start coming on with the pictures. Because now we're going to talk about John Hunt Morgan Camp 270, because they had Morgan on the rim. That's a few of them that set up taking some pictures. That was all the information that I had, was Morgan on the rim, John Hunt Morgan Camp 270. And then we have some people that y'all might remember or might know, the Lieutenant General Richard Taylor Camp out of Shreveport, Camp 1308. They did a Veterans Day program for 4 classes at the World of God Ministry School. And they had members of the Lieutenant General Richard Taylor Camp 1308, Shreveport, Louisiana. They attended the Louisiana Division Fall Assembly at Fort Randolph and Pineville, Louisiana. Commander, do you know any of these, and do you wish to say who they were?
You don't get me started. There's David Adler, and listen, there's Chuck McMichael, and we've got a bunch of 2 past commanders there, and the commander of the division, David Hill, and just a bunch of folks there. And I'm going to tell you that Richard Taylor camp is one active camp, and it's just a pleasure to know them.
Yes, they are. They are a very active camp and a very good camp. All righty. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the Major Thomas R. Livingston Camp 2327 out of Carthage, Missouri. And I have learned to say that correctly, like you learned to say the Mouton camp. You don't say Mouton, you say Mouton.
Mouton.
And when you talk about Missouri, you don't talk about Missouri, you call it Missouri. And they had they had 150 kids and adults came through the trunk or treat event at the historic Kindred House in Carthage, Missouri, hosted by the Major Thomas R. Livingston Camp 2328. This was the third year the camp has put on a trunk or treat. See, now that's a good thing to do, just to get out in the community like that.
Yeah.
And then here they are in the parade. This is the camp parade that's in the City of Carthage Veterans Day Parade. Picture from left are compatriots. Randy Barnett of the Private Riley Crawford Camp 2344. Gary Stewart, Ryan McDonald, Paul Lewis, and Lonnie Culp. Gentlemen, thank y'all for getting out there and marching in these parades. Hope to hear from a few more of y'all next week. Get us that information, because I've seen pictures on Facebook of y'all being out there at these marching in these Veterans Day parades. Send them to us. Let us know what you're doing. Are you there, Commander?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All righty. I just didn't know if you had something you wanted to say.
No, sir. I'm just looking at all the remarks over here, and there's one from Carthage, Missouri, and Chuck McMichael is saying something. So I'm just watching them. They're talking about what's going on, and I appreciate those Louisiana boys hanging in there, especially their squirrel gumbo deal. That's something to attend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ryan McDonald, he popped on there and said, "You're very welcome. Thank you for getting out there, representing the Sons of Confederate Veterans in a very positive way. Keep it positive. Keep moving forward." And Chuck McMichael chimed in with this. We had 100% retention. Yeah. Way to go, Shreveport. Appreciate y'all for that. And we had a gentleman that come in. I am Mark Thomas from Stonewall Jackson Camp, number 1381, Clearwater, Florida. Thank you for joining us tonight, sir. Appreciate you coming in. And let's get back over here. I think we have a few more pictures that we're going to cover. We had on Tennessee Tuesday, we had Jordy Barnett come on, and he talked about the Bethesda Church and the cemetery walk. They sent some pictures in. It started as an evening walk. Now, Bethesda Church was a hospital during the war, and there's a lot of Confederates buried in that cemetery. And I still have that pull up. Let me ease him off of there. Oh, and Derek Glover, I'm going to come back to you in just a moment. But this is the Bethesda Church and Cemetery Walk. If you've ever done any of these walks at night through the cemetery, they are something else. And this is everybody going to start to get in place. If you've ever done a cemetery walk, you know you get in right before dark. And this is really nice that they've got all of this going on. And thank you for sending in these pictures, all of these pictures. And they didn't tell me who the people were in the pictures, just that they said just sent pictures in. I know that's Joshua Cameron. He's our communications officer here in the state of Tennessee. And then let's see, I think we have one more. Yes. So the Bethesda, looks like the Bethesda Church and Cemetery Walk was a successful event. And we'll finish up the news of what I've been sent from the Robert H. Hatton Camp 723 out of Lebanon. This is a very active camp. I see Derek Glover in that picture, along with Tom Wood and Martin Frost. And they were marching in the Veterans Day Parade. And I appreciate them getting out there and see those flags flying. So appreciate everybody sending the news. That is everything that he sent me. I hope I got everything correct. I want to put on here that Derek Glover says he wants some squirrel. and Charles LeRae replied back, "We got plenty."
Hey, Jason, you might want to mention about the the pilgrimage in December, the first weekend in December at Murray County.
Oh, yes, sir. I'd be honored to. On the December 5th and 6th, the first Friday and Saturday, the Murray County Christmas Tour of Homes. It's been going on for years. They've got, you can go on Facebook and see everybody, all the homes that are going to be on there. We have homes and churches. Elm Springs is on it every year. We're one of the places that they've chosen because we have a lot of people to come there, where that's where we have sell the tickets. And now that we have the National Confederate Museum there, you buy a ticket to go tour those, all those people come and go through the museum. And I'm there on that Friday and Saturday. I'm a docent in the house. I have been in the museum during some slack times. But the slack time that we've ever had was about 11 o'clock on a Friday when it started snowing. Okay. Then it slowed down a little bit. Other than that, we stayed packed all weekend. And if you ever decide that you want to come and see the museum and to see the house, you want a Christmas vacation. And, I'm not talking National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I'm talking about where you want to come and you want to see this. Come on and get the ticket and go see these other places, historic places in Murray County. Murray County was very blessed. Murray County had a lot of Masons during the war. So when the war started, they did not burn any or very few of the homes that Masons lived in. That lasted until the Confederates started coming back into Tennessee late October, early November of 1864, which led to the Battle of Spring Hill, Battle of Franklin, and Battle of Nashville. And that's where we almost lost Elm Springs. Was they come there to burn it. They had looted the home, and they had moved the Looney family out. They'd looted the home. They'd moved on down Morrisville Pike. You had 3 men that stayed there on the grounds. They were the ones that was to make sure everything had been stolen that could be taken before they burned the house. That was their last orders, to burn the house. And one of them was upstairs and he screamed, "We got Confederates coming." So one of them stuck a broom into the fireplace there in the dining room, caught the broom on fire, pitched it in the staircase. And the reason why you pitch it in the staircase is that acts like a chimney. And once it goes up and breaches the ceiling, that's it. A house is going to come falling. The servant that was there, Samson went in the house and got the broom and took the broom out so the home did not get burned. Frank Armstrong and his men, as in the Walls Could Talk video, that's who we talk about, is Samson the servant and Frank Armstrong, the gentleman you see on the wall. They come busting in that back door, and they killed 3 Federals there on the grounds of Elm Springs that were trying to burn the home. So that was something that went on all through Murray County, but that was at the very end. And the Confederates were coming in, and they kept a lot of these homes from being burned. So you're able to go see a lot of these antebellum homes because Confederates kept them from being burned as the Federals went on their burning campaign. And Elm Springs is just one example of that.
Yeah, and that's a good example of how we're reaching other people who would not normally come to a quote Confederate museum. They come to see all the tourist attraction, and we just happen to be one of the largest ones there. So they'll come to our museum, even if they just go to Elm Springs. When you got somebody like Jason Brocheters pontificating on the cause and protecting that property and all that good stuff, you get a different story than these people get in the news. So it's very important. The car shows, the music that we have there, the special events, it all attracts people that would not normally go to a quote Civil War site, but they go there and then all of a sudden they realize there's more here than I realized. So let's keep supporting those people there in Murray County. And I've been there twice, and it is a very, very good tour.
And yes, sir, I believe you came and you did the tour of homes, if I remember correct.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And what did you think about it?
Yeah, my wife and I did, and it is great. Absolutely great.
So encourage you, if you ever decide that you want to, hey, when's a good time to come? First weekend in December. That's always a great time to come. And Chuck McMichael is correct. Adam and Kayla already have the house already decorated up for Christmas. So make sure that you come and you pay Elm Springs and the National Confederate Museum a visit. So, and we'll pop on here by Brigadier General J.J. Alfred Mouton Camp 778. A great member used his contact with many folks in the community to promote our camping heritage as well as defend our monument at the courthouse. I'm sure they're talking about Mr. David Richard, and he is going to be a compatriot that will be missed. Yes. And then Wilfred Owens, who's been on this whole time. He was one of the first ones to come on when we first started at 7 o'clock before I had the bugaboo. Okay. And it's the honor of Leander Aston, his third great grandfather, 51st North Carolina, died at a POW in Elmira. Whew. I'm not going to say what they call Elmira, but there's a, yes, we do know. And your brother put this on here. I have an old news article that claims that Murray County had the last successful Confederate cavalry charge.
Yeah, how about that?
Yes, and they had several here, but at the very end of the war, the last fight that was in Tennessee was down at Sugar Creek, and Confederate General Nathan Bedford Forrest, this is on the retreat from the Battle of Nashville, busted federal officer Wilson and his cavalry, busted him in the mouth right there at Sugar Creek, run him all the way back to Pulaski. Oh, yes. And let's see, Janet Massey Smith enjoyed the chat. Oh, yes, I did. I just got that the other day. Thank you. And Derek Glover, yes, we're having a Battle Eve dinner that's going to be held at Elm Springs. You're going to be dining in the dining room. So you're limited to just so many seats. So if you haven't booked that already, you have to ask Adam, see if we have any seats still available. But that is next Saturday, the 22nd. And said on here, I visited Carnton Mansion up there in Franklin where it served as a hospital during the battle. Yes, it did. 4 of the 5 generals laid in state there after the Battle of Franklin. And you have to remember the body parts and the limbs were stacked up to the window sills. So that's a horrible event that happened there. One of the bloodiest days we ever had. Commander?
Yes, sir.
Do you have anything you'd like to leave us with? We're finished with the news. We have been on an hour and 8 minutes this time.
Okay.
This might be a quickest record for us.
Well, I do want to remind folks that that we will be in Jacksonville, Florida, Saturday, dedicating their monument and their flag park there. And by all means, come on out and take a listen and pat them on the back. Commander Hart and his camp has done a spectacular job there. And so they need a pat on the back, and we need to be inspired by what they're doing. So we'll go back and do more ourselves. And in closing, I want to remind folks, remember the video. It's got, 6 o'clock Central Time, 6 p.m. Central Time tomorrow on Make Dixie Great Again Facebook. All you got to do is type in Make Dixie Great Again Facebook, and it'll pop up, and they will have it out then, the premiere of that video. Remember the cards that are in your Confederate veteran. Put a stamp on those things. Sign them. Put an X if you're afraid to sign them, but send them in. They need to be flooded with those cards. And if you don't want them all going to Sean Hannity, just scratch out his name on 2 of them and put somebody else's name there. But we need to inundate Fox News in New York City with our cards. And also the Confederate Veteran Magazine. The Confederate Legion has 5 magazines for 60 camps that you can distribute in your community to like-minded folks. We're going to try that. So, and you can get a hold of information, send it to Paul Graham, our Chief of Heritage Operation. If you don't know what his email is, look on Forward the Colors in your magazine, and his article and his email address is right there. So with that said, I want to thank Jason for allowing me to be on with him. I appreciate that. And I just appreciate my fellow compatriots and the Sons of Confederate Veterans. Y'all are wonderful people. You know, we don't always see eye to eye on everything, but one thing we do see eye to eye on is that by George, the South was right. And we make no apology for that. But in a loving manner, we want to educate our fellow citizens and Americans in general. With that, Commander, it is your show to close.
Well, I wanted to, since you said that the South was right.
Yes.
You know, when you come walking into the museum, the Kennedy twins have a bench. The South is right. Yesterday, that was the subject of a conversation.
Really?
Was that bench. I ended up giving a tour to someone from Idaho. Okay.
Oh.
And very, very conservative, Confederate minded.
Yeah.
And he goes, the bench over there. Oh, yes, sir. And he pointed it out. And I said, oh, yes, that's Kennedy twins. That's South is right. He goes, tell me about them. I go, okay. And I said, we got some of their books in there. And I said, and I told about you being Lieutenant Commander in Chief, now being Commander in Chief, and your brother was Chief of Heritage Operations. And he goes, is this Kennedy twins that wrote the book, The South is Right? I said, yes, it is. And he said, they have a bench here? I said, he's the Commander in Chief. Yes.
Hey, so, you didn't know how long it took us to get that bench, did you?
No. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. That it only took 1,000 years and 1,000,000 prayers. It felt like, but it was. And the thing is, he had read the book.
Wow.
In Idaho, he had read the book,
yeah.
And he got very interested in it. And you know, I sent him to some people to try to do his genealogy. He said, well, there's no camp in Idaho. I said, we have a headquarters camp, 584 McCain Camp. You'll be a member right here. And he goes, I go, we'll be able to find you another camp, or we can help you start a camp. You could be the spark.
It's in the Northwest, the Pacific Northwest Division. And I do believe we did it one time in Idaho. So that's a good possibility there. Yes, sir.
Hey, and it might be, but you know, we sent him that way, trying to lead him on. But when you said that, it made me think about it. That I ended up having a conversation about that bench when you said the South is right. And I wanted to bring this on here. Longstreet Jolliet Camp 87, 33rd Annual Lee Jackson Jubilee Banquet Hall, February 7th. Guess who's going to be speaking there? Commander-in-Chief Walter D. Donnie Kennedy. And that is a huge Lee Jackson. They do have over 100 people there, and it is a good turnout. It really is. I've spoken there before. And Chuck McMichael, I thank you for saying that. Yes, it was worth the wait. In case y'all don't know, we're running late because we started the program on time. And then while Commander was going to talk, I was going to upload a couple of pictures. And when I went to upload them, it killed the stream. And it was another 3 to 5 minutes before we found out, and we got it shut down. And I had to start a complete new stream. And I apologize for that. I learned something. I will not do that again. You know, sometimes you got to, you know, we all make mistakes, and I flat made one. And it sounds like we're going to see a lot of people there in Jacksonville on Saturday. Yes, Roy Hudson's going to be there. I saw Charles LeRae is going to be there. So I thank y'all, gentlemen. Look forward to seeing all of y'all there. I thank everybody for coming on. And it just, sorry for my mistake. I learned, but I think we ended up having a pretty good show. But I mainly want to thank our very special guest, our Commander-in-Chief, Mr. Donnie Kennedy, for coming on. It is an honor to have you on. Thank you for your willingness to come on. And I love the fact of the information that you're spreading. It is all positive information that has been put out there because we're going in the right direction. We just need everybody talking about it.
Yes.
We're all Southerners are naturally, we're not going to brag about our victories. We think that's boasting too much. Well, I heard somebody from I think it was a Kennedy that said,
Oh, Lord.
if somebody doesn't toot their horn, what happens?
If you don't toot your own horn, the same shall go untooted.
And but we have to talk about our victories.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why we have not been getting a lot of traction out there, is we have them and we don't report them out. And that's what our commander-in-chief is doing. He's getting all this information out, and you will start getting. The database has already been prepared.
Thank you, Jason.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, the plan is we're going to use Jacksonville 1209 when we come down. We're consider everything that you have done a massive success.
Yes.
And we are going to start kicking off the SCV Success campaign with 1209 in Jacksonville.
You see that last comment there, Jason?
I don't care what Bill O'Reilly said about you. He obviously lied. Well, that makes two of us, Derek. I don't care what he says about me either. In fact, a lot of times people say things about me and I consider it applause, because there's some people that should not like you. Okay. And if they do like you, you got to wonder about something, So, yes. What'd you say, Commander?
Some people like you, it's because you're not doing something right. You're known by your enemies just like you're known by your friends.
Yes. And Roy Hudson said it best. Roy, thank you for putting this in here. This is a Florida Division project. I know we're giving a lot of credit to 1209 and Jacksonville, but we do realize, and thank you for pointing that out, that this is a Florida Division project. And we thank you that, because that is going to be the catalyst that is going to kick off this campaign.
Good.
And we're going to run it. Okay. Is there anything else that any of us need to say, Commander? Because we do have a few more thing on here. We need to talk about our commercial break. I did not put this on earlier, but the commercial breaks are sponsored by SCV Chat. Join on the Patreon. That helps this show stay on. The different levels of Patreon, they have the Feed the Moose level, which, as we know, we have all heard Harrison say that he is a broke college kid. Okay. So it starts out, he didn't get to name it. It was named the Moose level, and that's $2.50 a month. Then they have the $10 level. And then they have the $30 level where you start getting merchandise every few months. Then they have the $80 level to where you come in, like we have Chris Cummings that have come in, and he is sponsoring shows because he's paying $80 a month to do this. And we want to thank all of our sponsors, and we want to thank all those that have joined Patreon, because you continue to make this show possible. I've talked about it on Tennessee Tuesday. I'm going to go ahead and repeat it here. The subscription to StreamYard is nearly $1,000 a year. So money just does not fall off trees, as we all know. And so if you are so inclined, you like the shows, you want to keep them going, remember, we have the flagship show, the one that started it all, SCV Chat, Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. We have on Tuesday night, we have Tennessee Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Central Time. Wednesday night, we have Look Around Florida with the Florida man, Sean McFall. It's 7 p.m. Central Time. On Thursday night, first Thursday night of the month, you have Commander's Comments, which has our Commander-in-Chief, Donnie Kennedy, on with the Chief of Heritage Operations, and they're talking about all of the business that is going on in the Sons of Confederate Veterans. You're hearing it firsthand. If you want to know what's going on, you're hearing it from the CEO of the corporation. You're hearing it straight from him, and you're able to interact with him. That is a huge thing that not a lot of people get to do, is to have a sit down with the Commander-in-Chief and you get one the first Thursday night on Commander's Comments.
Good.
The other Thursday nights, look around Confederation. That's where we talk about the news that is going on throughout our Confederation. Friday nights, Friends of Douglas Southall Freeman with David Pope. You saw David make several comments on here tonight. Then Saturday, we don't have anything, but go do something Confederate, okay? Go do something Confederate, because there's something to do every weekend. If there's not, take your kids to the cemetery, take them to the museum, go do something and teach them their history, because you're going to be the one that's teaching it to them. There's nobody else going to. So they need to hear it from mama and daddy and grandmama and granddaddy. And then Sunday, go to church.
Amen.
But Sunday night, tune in at 7:30 Central Time for Hardy on History, which has Michael C. Hardy, who's written numerous books, numerous articles. Great person as always with him. And thank everybody for coming on. And again, thank you, Commander-in-Chief, for coming on and sharing this time with us. Appreciate everybody. I want to say that we're fixing to sign off. Commander, anything you'd like before we go?
Let's go. I haven't had supper yet.
Don't have supper. Stay Southern, my friends.
Amen. God save us.